Hello, hello. There, that's better. So let's turn off this one. Studio mode. And just me. There we go. Okay, that's better. Alright, I had something to say. I've been asking ChatGPT some questions, and this answer that she gave to this particular question I found was very important. I asked her, is it okay for a person with chronic pain to sit around and play Minecraft and stream it? Because I do that, and then I think, well, I'm getting more sedentary because I'm not moving around enough. And yet I do have chronic pain, and I don't have pain when I'm sitting around playing Minecraft. That's all I've been doing for months, and I don't have pain. I think the pain comes from the stuff I do. And I go outside, and then I start interacting with nature. Anyway, so her answer to me was, engaging in activities like playing Minecraft and streaming can be a fantastic way for someone dealing with chronic pain to manage their condition. Here's why. I just love her. Distraction and relaxation. Immersive activities like gaming can serve as a distraction from pain, offering moments of relaxation and enjoyment, potentially reducing discomfort by shifting focus. That's really been my case. Because instead of having to go outside and physically move everything, in Minecraft I can move everything, and I love creating spaces. It's one of those things I love to do. Like my teepee areas or my grass hut building. I just love these little places. I wish I had friends that loved doing this and that would have ideas, and that together we would, let's do it over here. Let's make another one here. People, well, of course they want to make one at their own house, right? Not over at my house, but it would be fun if I had someone who did that. Daniel does to a little tiny extent. Okay, so immersive activities like gaming can serve as a distraction from pain. Not only distracting you from pain, but giving you something to do that isn't going to cause you pain. So that at the end of the day, you're not in the pain that you would have been in if you were puttering, which can sometimes get to be kind of heavy work. So that one is about shifting focus, potentially reducing discomfort by shifting focus. 2. Accessibility and low impact. Gaming allows for participation from a comfortable seated position, making it accessible for individuals with physical limitations or pain. Community engagement. See, this is important because it's your community engagement that keeps you healthy. They're always talking about volunteering. But for me, volunteering, I don't really have my own schedule. I'm a grandma, I'm busy with grandchildren. So I did go to volunteer somewhere once, and I found that they wanted to know when I could come, and I couldn't say I can come every Tuesday, or because I don't know. I have no idea. But that's, I'm the kind of person that doesn't matter. I don't mind not knowing what I'm going to be doing on a certain day next week. Because it's going to be a nice surprise. It's going to be different than the day before or the day after. Every day is always different from the next day. It's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes, when you're retired and you're at home, you could do the very same thing every day. But it doesn't work that way. Anyway, so this community engagement. Streaming Minecraft can foster a sense of community and connection with viewers, providing social interaction and support, which can be beneficial for mental well-being. You see, so the Minecraft, it's like keeping me off the streets, right? It's keeping me out away from my tools and my ideas and work. Like once I go down there and start cutting tall grass to harvest it. Like the snow is gone right now. So I could potentially do that. And if I do it, I'll be in pain. And if I continue to do it, I'll continue to be in pain. And sometimes it's hard to get out of the pain. The pain, there's a spiral, or there's the pain begins, and then everything changes. And there's this pattern that goes on when you hurt yourself. But it's not really a matter of hurting myself. It's a matter of my body just being unable to do certain things anymore without pain. But sometimes I don't get the pain right away. And in that case, I do too much. And then when I do get the pain, it's Anyway, so that's interesting. So Minecraft, it keeps me from doing stuff that's going to give me pain. And it's low impact. And it's relaxing. And it's fulfilling, because you can create things. And I'm such a creator of stuff and have so many ideas. And it gives me a lovely place where I can go and create. It's a palette. It's a palette that's a landscape, and I can walk around in it and look around me, and I can build, and I can create and experiment and try different materials and different styles and see what works best and what's most convenient and what I like. And so I'm quite familiar with what I like in a house and how a house should be shaped, because I do that. Anyway, so being in the game, there is now, which of these chemicals is being released? Like, when people praise me, I get a hit of dopamine. When someone feels love towards me, or I feel love towards other people that I talk to, that I've gotten to know, that gives me oxytocin. And there's a certain amount of adrenaline rush that you get, when some bad monster creeps up behind you and suddenly everything blows up, or you fall. These, it's interesting that, you see, it's easier to play Minecraft than to paint a painting. I don't think that my mobility is better than at times. At times I could not stand up for more than a few moments. A few seconds in the same place was about all I could do. So I couldn't stand up in a line. Now I can stand in a line. I can stand in one place longer. See, it's interesting. It's probably because while I couldn't stand in one place, I love all these lights. While I couldn't stand in one place, was it during a time when I was working on stuff. I was lugging wood around and just in general doing things that are men's work, that are too heavy for me. I don't lift weights and do all that. So I finally, I'm always asking ChatGPT about being old and what I should be expecting and what happens at this age and at that age. And she's always, I never am on the mark. She doesn't seem to have anything about me. And then I asked this question about I've been asking her a lot of things. She's helping me. Sometimes I have a hard time making friends, and she's helping me. Okay, here it is. Oh, I've got to go way back up here. Okay, maybe this is it. Okay, this is where when I finally asked this question, I realized I was in this group. And this group is where I belong. And so I'm trying to compare myself apples and oranges, thinking, well, other people, they're still hiking mountains at 75 or 78, and I'm 68, and I'm in a chair a lot. And being in a chair is actually good for me as far as pain management. Like if I'm in a chair, I'm not busy hurting myself. Going for a walk is pretty good too. Going for a walk, but when I get out there, I see things and I want to move them around. But anyway, she said here, my question was, what do people with chronic pain, what do people with chronic pain do? It was quite a conversation. What do people do when they realize they are old? How does that affect their behavior? See, I'm at this turning point in my life. It's been lasting like, I don't know, 5 years now, maybe not quite, maybe more. But this feeling that, like when I said that I have 15 more years of good life, like I guess I was 60, and I figured if I died I was 60, just a little over 60, and if I died at 85 or something, then that's about how long I would expect to live. If I live that long, I was thinking, okay, 20 years, I've got 20 more years to do everything I want to do. So here, that's part of one of this. What do people do when they realize they're old? How does that affect their behavior? Her response was, realizing one is old can trigger various responses. Some individuals might become more reflective, focusing on past achievements or reassessing their priorities. So when I realized that I was old, how did it affect my behavior? Well, I decided I had this much left to live, 20 years, and then I decided, well, maybe 15, so the last 5 won't be very productive. So that's like, I don't know when the 20 years was from. And Ben said, no, you've got 5 years. 5 good years left. And it's almost coming true. I went with them to Vancouver, and I had a hard time walking and keeping up with them. I really missed my walker. And then I went with them to Maui. I've had a blessed life. And they, I sat in we spent a lot of time in the vehicle. We drove around the island, and we drove up around the Hana Trail, or road, Hana Road. And we went up, they went hiking up mountains, and I sat at the bottom of the mountain, which was fine with me. I had my sketchbook, my journal, my camera, phone, I could look around. I sat there and I sketched the view of the hikers walking up the trail through the forest. That was kind of cool. So it wasn't a lost time at all. But I was not hiking up the mountain. I used to be hiking up the mountains. Not big mountains, but I used to hike. I was going to hike the Appalachian Trail a few years ago. When I lost all that weight, I was really ready. I was going to go do that. I wanted Mary to do it with me, and we were sort of talking about it, and then she gets friends. She lived on the trail, and she meets people on the trail, and she starts talking. She starts walking the trail. She's walking it like, I don't know, 5 miles a day, or not walking the whole trail, but she'll go for hikes on the trail. And there's so many crossroads where a road crosses the Appalachian Trail in Park at any of those places. There's also other trails in northwestern Connecticut. There's the Mohawk Trail that forks off from the Appalachian Trail. Anyway, and so there she was hiking the trail, not all at once and not like a 6-month adventure like I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do it in the end because I didn't want to get Lyme disease. Well, I have Lyme disease anyway. So that's another thing. How much does the Lyme disease affect my body and my mobility? And, I have a handicap sticker. I've had a handicap sticker since before I needed hips. About the time I was gonna need, my hips were really freezing up. I mean, my legs there was a bit of forward and back, and that was about all the mobility. Then I started doing the exercises, and goodness gracious, oh, hi, Tyler. You're right, I should be sleeping. Yes, I will regret this. I haven't really gone to bed yet. I went to bed. I got up at 11, but I don't think I had really been sleeping. I think I was watching all these very cute little shorts. Those are very addictive. They use up a lot of time, but they're kind of fulfilling. They kind of make you feel happy. Okay, so here we go. I know that you've been following along with my confusion about aging. So, realizing one is old can trigger various responses. Some individuals might become more reflective, focusing on past achievements or reassessing their priorities. Others may experience a sense of urgency, wanting to accomplish certain goals or fulfill long-held aspirations before time runs out. I don't think I have any of those. I think that's my problem, is I don't have many goals. But I have my violin here, and I play my violin, and I've got this sketchbook, and I'm starting to sketch the cats. I'm going to get good at sketching cats. I'm going to be able to sit here and quickly sketch these cats. But first I'm going to learn the shape of their faces and the shape of their eyes, and this little triangle point they have here. It's a little rectangle, and it's got 2 parts that go up, and then in the middle it comes down here with another little tiny triangle. Not much of a triangle. More, it's rounded, the loop of the top thing comes down and goes around. For the cats, it's divided in the middle, right? I'm curious if they smile. There's sometimes that you look at a cat and he's not in a very good mood. what is it? They said that there's like 250 yes, you're right. I was fine when I went to Hawaii. Yes, because it was green and it was fun and it was beautiful and there were the ocean and the sunshine and the breeze and it was just summer. It was blissful. It was nice. And seeing people do things like windsurfing. So a distraction like that, to completely be distracted from the pain. You know, until you've lived in Canada for a winter or 36 winters, 46 winters, you know, like winter does something to you. You can't go outside. I guess it's what happens in Las Vegas in the summer. But no, because there's no sunlight. I mean, it is light part of the day, but it's not a bright light. It's not like you have light for this many hours. You have dim light. There's such a thick cloud cover. When the sun is fully bright and there's no clouds, it's like an overcast day in the summer. The color on the sidewalk on an overcast day in the summer is the same color on the sidewalk in the winter. That's very interesting. We're that much farther from the sun that it's not as bright. And how do you deal with that? The first year I came to Canada and we lit our wood stoves on the 21st of September. And we were pretty much had to stay inside after that. I mean, or dress warmly, no more summer stuff. I was so shocked. You know, I have always done a whole lot of stuff. Been very physically active. You know, I was a farmer for 8 years, a farm wife. And I was carrying bags around, bags of feed, and I was doing all that heavy-duty farming stuff. That's what Scarlett's doing now. She's really into farming. I guess I should go to bed. I love the lights in this room. It's just so nice. And I'm thinking about, what do I really enjoy? And I was walking around the deck and I was thinking, I really like this place. This is a really nice spot. I like this spot. And I'd walk around and then I'm crunching on this snow that's snowing right now. And it's not normal snow. Like, snow usually blankets everything exactly, but it's like these little triangular shapes about this big of snow. And they're just patchy here and there. And I guess some of it's sticking and some is blowing nearby or something. But it's totally different from the way snow usually behaves. It usually isn't windy when it's snowing. The snow just falls gently, and you get a very even thing. But then the wind blowing when it's snowing, you get drifting. Blowing and drifting snow. Winter is a very interesting time. That's one of the reasons Minecraft is so good. Anyway, this was so interesting to read all this stuff. Behaviorally, some might become more conservative or risk-averse, prioritizing stability and familiarity. You know, that's what I've been doing. I've been realizing that I can't let myself fall so much. I become more conservative. I don't want to go out in the ice. Like, that's something that an old person does. But yet I'm doing that. Prioritizing stability and familiarity. However, this isn't universal. Some individuals embrace new experiences. See, and this is the part I can't really relate to, because I am handicapped, right? Like I have limitations. If I do certain things, I get a lot of pain. If I don't, if I sit around and play Minecraft, I don't get any pain. It's amazing. But these other individuals, these are people that are not saddled with chronic pain. They embrace new experiences, travel, or engage in activities they previously put off. Now, I was building this grass hut. I right up until a week ago or something, I finished the sides of this one, weaving with grass. So it's a new experience doing that, and I embrace it. And this new experience of pretending that I'm living in a houseboat, I mean, it is not impossible for this to have been a houseboat. This, if you look up houseboats, you see that there's like apartments on a houseboat. So our house could definitely be living on a houseboat. Of course it isn't. But tumultuous waves on that side, pretty smooth sailing on this side, wake behind. A big waterfall we're about to go down. Okay, so embrace new experiences. That's that the boat is a cruise ship or something. Travel. I do love to travel. You know, I would travel if I had somewhere to go. And if it was okay to go and leave whatever's going on here. But it's not very convenient to travel right now. I have to wait a few more years. I'm very involved in the life of my grandchildren. However, this isn't universal. Oh wait, so they travel or engage in activities they previously put off. So activities I previously put off. Well, not anymore. It seems like I have done it all. I'm finished doing it. Now I'm just sitting around enjoying old age. Enjoying my retirement. I do miss doing stuff, and I suppose if I had somebody else organizing it and doing it with me, I would love to do it, you know, like making birch bark containers. I'd rather now go to a workshop on making birch bark containers and have somebody else cut all of the materials and hand it all to me, and I've got all the proper materials, you know. So right now I still am, I haven't gotten any right lately, but I'm always harvesting birch bark. If ever I see birch bark and it's good stuff, I get it. I got a whole pile out there. I gotta use it. But you know, it's interesting because once my kids said, Mom, you have more things than you can do in the rest of your life. Now that was an interesting point. All this glass I have to make into stained glass objects, well, I haven't used it since my blade stopped working properly. And after that, I could never do it again. My glass is, maybe it needs to be warmed. I'm not sure what's going on with the whole thing, but anyway. But I have a lot of stained glass, that I could make into a million stained glass things. I mean, this is quite a well-stocked pottery studio I have. And stained glass. I have everything I need for that. But that's the way I am, right? Like when I do a project, I get everything I need to do that project. And then I work on it. I make a whole lot of them. And then I'm done. I've done it all. There's nothing left that I want to learn. I've experienced all the parts of it. And I don't really want to get amazingly better at it. I'm good enough. I made that beautiful mirror in there in the bathroom. You know, and maybe it's time to let go of the stained glass stuff. But what about the grandchildren? I know that most people are attached to their tablets and don't want to do anything at all. But I don't think they're all like that. So if one of them wants to do stained glass, once they're old enough that they're not going to cut themselves and, you know, cry and all that. Once they can be safe. They could do stained glass. And okay, so do I want to do stained glass anymore? Yes, I really enjoy doing stained glass. Aha. Okay then. So then I need to bring some materials up to the house. On the table, I can cut the glass. I can wrap it with the stuff. I can have my pattern. I have to have 2 sets of patterns. I can cut out all the pieces and place them on the pattern. And then later I stain, I do all my you use lead soldering, all of my soldering I can do on that. But you see, lead, you don't want that in the house where you're going to smell it. That's not good. So the lead has got to be done outside. I used to do it in the sunroom with the windows open, and I'd have the fan on blowing it out. I don't think I always did, though. Anyway, I've taken more risks than I should have. Just ask my daughter, she'll tell you. Okay, so now I have my pottery studio. I don't have fire insurance, therefore I cannot fire a kiln here. So I have a kiln that works. I could put it in the yard. I could build a little framework, a little building, just a little tiny structure, and use cement boards on all sides and fire it in there. That's possible. But I personally, if I do that, I'm going to be in chronic pain for quite a while. And so it's best not if I don't do that. But I don't have somebody else that is interested in doing it for me, or even with me. But if I had help doing that, and I could put up a little structure, I can dig 4 post holes. I can lift the post hole digger up, but it's gotten heavier, and it hurts my back more. Maybe I've sat around for too long, but the sitting around, it keeps me from being in chronic pain. And I do accomplish a bunch of stuff around the house. And I go for walks on the deck. But sometimes I don't do much of anything. And I think it has to do with the weather being so gloomy. As soon as the sun shines, I'm out of here. It's like I remember I have a car, and I can go tootling up and down these beautiful roads and drop in on my friends who live hither and yon. So I have been, I'm trying to assess, what am I doing? How am I doing? This is my life. This is my life. Am I just passing time? Is it just waiting for these 15 years to be over? Well, no. I'm actively teaching, I'm passing on my knowledge, my cooking stuff on YouTube, but also to my grandchildren. And I am developing a better relationship with my son, both sons who are living here as adults. And of course, it's different when you don't have to tell them what to do anymore. You have a different relationship. So those things are happening, and I'm helping out I'm volunteering by babysitting, right? That's definitely like volunteering. We also went out and did the kettle drive for the Salvation Army. Do you know that the people that are out there doing the Salvation Army are not necessarily Salvation Army members? I always thought it was all, but they're just volunteers. Any people that feel like helping out and, standing there and looking thankful when anybody puts money in the kettle. That's not a very nice way to say it. Anyway, so I am doing volunteering, quite a lot of it, which is why I don't make videos as often. I am engaging in Minecraft, which keeps my mind active and keeps me creative and mobile in that world, very mobile. And it keeps me from getting more pain. It also gives me an activity to do sitting down. I have my journal. I usually write in my journal a lot, and I have my scriptures. I get very far distracted off of my routine of that. I have my violin here to play. Hi, Pan. I'm not playing. Well, my day has been fine so far. I should probably go to bed. It's 4 o'clock. But it's really been nice. I went and walked around the deck a few times. It's snowing gently. It was very nice out there. The sound of the snow under my feet. It's a different kind of snow sound. And the wind is blowing, and so it's kind of cold. Look at those hearts. Oh, clicking up. Thank you. So I'm just, I'm accepting the fact. I've gotten over the being yarked out about it, but I've accepted the fact that I indeed have become older and things have changed. And now it's time to accept these changes. But what do? I mean, you accept them, but then what do you do? Like physically, and I keep asking, well, what would a 68-year-old woman do? And there's many different varieties of possibilities and kinds of types of, one I finally figured out is people with chronic pain. What would they do? Well, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different kettle of fish. I can deal with that, and I can relate to it, I can't relate to Anchoret, who's 97 or 95, who walks across there and goes to Mira and she's making basket after basket after basket, and she's still getting around. She's got a crooked back that goes sideways, or it's humped over. Something about her back isn't quite right. But she doesn't have chronic pain. She has no pain. I get pain just sitting in a chair at the table. Depends what I've done. But anyway, so what I'm finding out now is what to do. Oh, you're in Indonesia. Hi, Risen Moon. I should write that down. Risen Moon is in Indonesia. Indonesia. Do I have Indonesia here? Let's go to the R's first for Risen Moon. Q. R. Risen Moon, you are in Indonesia. My mother-in-law was born in Sumatra, I think. Is that the right place? I think so. She lived there. She had a baby elephant. Her father worked for somebody in the jungle, the army, I think. They worked in the jungle, and sometimes they'd find orphaned animals, and he'd bring them home and tend to them. So she had this little elephant, and she would hang on his ears. He would flap his ears. She'd hang on his tail, and he'd push her around with his trunk. He was just a little baby, and she was about 3 years old, and he was about as tall as she was. Isn't that cool? I think the most important thing is to never get tired to discover new things. The word is a gift and full of marvelous things. Yes, you see, now this has been a problem lately because I would go to YouTube to find out the news, whatever. And because of the algorithms, it is giving me an echo chamber. So when I watch this kind of news, that's all I get is that kind of news. And I'm getting only certain things that they know I like, but nothing else. So like there's no it is not stimulating me like my books on the shelves. If I look at my books, I've got all sorts of kinds of books, and I have another bookshelf back here, which is all my craft books, all kinds of crafts. And that's what I need to be looking at, because those are ideas. Those are full of ideas. But YouTube, I mean, even regular television was better, because it just had the programming would come on, and you'd just get what you got, and you'd learn what time certain things came on. But I forget what to ask for. That's my problem, is I forget what else there is. And so I don't like choose programs about genetics. I might choose programs about the volcanoes because that's in the news with Grindavik in Iceland. And then the one that was Kilauea, was that what it was, in Hawaii? I like to follow those things. And the earthquakes. I'm very interested in earthquakes and how deep they are, and how they balance out along the plates, the edges of the plates. If you have a 4.5 over here and a 4.5 over here, you're probably going to get a 4.5 over here too, as it equals out the stresses. Very interesting. And I like to watch a lot of things that are current weather situations, like all these things that happen this day in the world. Floods and tornadoes and hurricanes and fires, and just amazing what is out there on one day in the world. Of course, it's always probably been quite a lot of stuff. Maybe it's more now, a lot more now. But we didn't know about it before. Now we can know about it. I like to do things like really silly things, like watch car chases in Los Angeles. You're from South Sumatra. Sumatra? From South. My mother-in-law was Dutch, and so first the Japs brought all the Dutch people together because the Indonesians were getting pretty irritable about the Dutch being there. And so they brought them into one block, and everybody moved into this block. And then they put a fence around it. They wouldn't let anybody come out. And first it was they were protecting them. The guards were there to protect them from the Indonesians who didn't like the Dutch authority there. But then it became a concentration camp from the Japs. And so I don't remember, but did the Japanese put the Indonesians as guards over the Dutch? I don't know, but there were like 45 people living in one house where my mother-in-law lived. That was a concentration camp during the war. Her husband was in another concentration camp in a different part of Indonesia. He was in the war, and she and her mother weren't. They're both in this concentration camp together. The house was all women. There's only one toilet. And they weren't giving them much food, if anything, at one point. And they worked them very hard. You know, the fact that I should be sleeping right now, I think that doing the same thing every day is really bad for you. I think that things like staying up really late and doing something different, like walking around the house a dozen times on the deck and having the cat stand beside you. I have this place that I've got fleece that is sort of matted fleece, and I sit on this swing. I moved things around out there on the shady deck, and now I have a swing, and it's all covered with fleece. And then I have an extra piece of fleece that I can put over my legs. It's very nice out there because it's thick fleece, and so it keeps the cold away. And I don't care that it's dirty. I have my coat on under it. I mean, that's the thing you'd have to say is, now make sure you're covered up because you really don't want any dirt falling out of this onto you. It does, the dirt falls right through fleece. So you may have a fleece carpet and everything looks pretty clean, but you pick up the carpet and there's all this sand under it, or dust, or whatever. The dirt goes through it. It's just fibers. Okay, I guess I better get off of here and go to bed. I had to share this with you. I don't know if I got to the end of what it was, but the creative ideas that they've been giving me, and I'm looking around and saying, okay, I'm doing this, this is what these people do. People that are generally, that have chronic pain and manage it by not doing bad things to themselves, you know. Even the dishes and laundry, it all will hurt me. But being pretty pain-free is a nice thing, you know. But anyway, I have to take good care of myself. I have to make sure I don't get too sedentary. I have to raise my arms and move my arms around and get up and go for walks. Go for long walks. I should walk around the block. It's 5 miles, I think, to walk around the block. No, maybe it's more than that, maybe 10. We live way up in the boonies where there is nothing. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go. So, good night. It's nice to meet you, Risen Moon. It's nice to see you again, Pam Stardust. And good night, Tyler. I'll see you all again. Goodbye. And remember, you can do this at home. Results may differ. That doesn't mean anything in this case. Anyway, if you haven't already and you feel like it, like, subscribe, share, and what's that other thing? Comment.